What is good, YouTube? Another video today. I know I took a little 6-day break, but I'm back to come to you with the Defensive Player of the Year. I gotta get all the awards out before the season start. I got the MVP coming up today, and I'm gonna have the Defensive Player of the Year, which is Kawhi Leonard. But the runner-ups is going to probably be Anthony Davis, been averaging 2 blocks and 1 steal a game. The biggest problem with Anthony Davis chances is that he's always injured, and he's injured for a significant amount of games. And also his team is always never one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. If he can improve staying healthy and improve being one of the top 10, top 5 defensive teams in the NBA, because they really care about your team being great in general, not just you as an individual defender, you as an individual in a team defender. He's a great help defender. He's a great shot blocker, rim protector. He's great in the passing lanes. He's great in stripping the ball. He's an amazing individual defender. It's just that his team isn't playing up to par as him. They're not playing as hard. They're not playing with as much energy. They're not playing with that much fight and hustle. Anthony Davis out there trying everything in his power to win games, and his team is just not giving the same effort to me. That's my opinion. But he's putting up Defensive Player of the Year numbers with the 2 blocks and 1 steal, almost 3 blocks a game. But his team in general is not winning games defensively or offensively, and that's hurting his stock as a Defensive Player of the Year. He's putting up the numbers individually, but his team isn't having the same success, and that's what's stopping him from taking that next step, which he might eventually, when he get better talent, be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, which he is every season, but actually be serious about winning the award when his team comes together with him and become a defensive dominant team anchored by Anthony Davis. Then he'll probably be Defensive Player of the Year. He has it coming because he's putting up the numbers. He just got to get the team on the same page. Next, Draymond Green been runner-up for multiple years, but he fell short to Kawhi Leonard because he's not as versatile. He can guard the 4s, he can guard the 3s, he can guard some 2s. He's a staunch defender, getting a lot of steals, playing a lot of post defense. He's an excellent post defender. He has quick hands. He can get in the passing lanes. He's not as locked down as Kawhi. He doesn't really, to me, take people out of the games all the time like Kawhi. Kawhi Leonard actually take people completely out of games. He can guard 1 through 5 because of his length and his arms and his steals and his ability to block shots and contest shots. And Kawhi Leonard can play excellent in the passing lanes. He's kind of like a safety. He can still intercept passes. He can take passes from, like you do across the court pass. He can take those. He's a good individual defender. Like I said, he can take people completely out of the game. He's just a great steal. He averaged 1.8 steals a game, and he averaged 1 block a game. But it's just his ability to shut you down completely is the reason why Kawhi Leonard is the best defensive player in the league. And he's versatile, like I said, with the ability to steal the ball, play the passing lanes, and shut down defenders. And he's a great defensive rebounder too, which I expect to go up a little bit more this season. And that helps his case as a rebounder because he averaged a lot of defensive rebounds too. So Kawhi Leonard is the best all-around defender. Draymond Green is second. Paul George is my 4th pick. I'm trying to give y'all multiple picks. He slid a little bit after the injury. He was probably the best perimeter defender at one point before Kawhi Leonard overtook him as the best perimeter defender. Draymond Green passed him up too, but his ability to get clutch stops with blocks and steals. Remember, he stripped Bradley Beal one time to put them in the Eastern Conference Finals after they beat Atlanta. They had to beat Washington, and he has the ability to come up clutch with defensive stops. It just, he has to be more locked down. He's the best defender lengthwise because he's just so long and lanky, and he has good hands. He has good athleticism, and He's almost, I think he like 6'9", so he has the length, he has the arms, he has the hands, he has the athleticism. It just he took a step back because remember he was the best perimeter defender. He just took a step back to Kawhi and Draymond. Now with him having more talent on the Indiana Pacers roster, I would like to see Paul George take a step forward since he doesn't have to carry the offensive load that he did the last couple years. Remember, his second best player was Lance Stevenson. He only averaged almost 13 points a game. He wasn't even a primary scorer because 13 points a game is not that good. And Roy Hibbert was an all-star, but he wasn't a go-to scorer. He was more a defensive player than a go-to scorer. And I would like to see with Al Jefferson and Miles Turner taking a step up, Thaddeus Young, Jeff Teague, and all these, and Monte Ellis, all these players coming to Indiana and helping take the weight of the world off Paul George's hands and assist him in carrying the world and getting buckets and making his job a lot easier and making him be a little more efficient. Hopefully he can take some time off his offensive duties and put more work in defensively and become back that top defender on the level of Kawhi Leonard and Draymond Green. Paul George doesn't have to carry the load as much because of a talent upgrade this year. He should be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He hasn't really been one the last couple years, but he should be back on that defensive lockdown level this season because of his ability to lock more in defensively because he don't have to carry them that much offensive load. So with that being said, I would like to see Paul George focus more on being a lockdown and a Kawhi Leonard type defender because remember he was better than Kawhi Leonard at one point. Then he's far behind now. So I would like to see him lock back in defensively and become a lockdown defender on the LeBrons, on the KDs, on the Kawhi Leonards, on the Draymond Greens, the Klay Thompsons, and Steph Currys. I would like to see him take more players out of the games, get more steals, average a block a game because of his length and his arms. I would like to see Paul George focus more on the defensive end. Not saying that he's a bad defender. He's still a great defender. But I want to see him become back that elite lockdown defender that he was 3 years ago. And now that he has more help, he should be able to do it. Let me know what you guys think on my analysis. Defensive Player of the Year to me is going to be Kawhi Leonard. And let me know what you guys think the Defensive Player of the Year is going to be this year. Dwight Howard is another player that's going to be in the running because he doesn't have to do as much in Atlanta. He's going to be the anchor because Al Horford can't really anchor a defense. He's a great defensive player, but not the Dwight Howard level athletically and mobility-wise. I would like to see Dwight Howard do that Paul George. He has a lot of ball movement, has a lot of easy opportunities to get buckets. And now he can just focus on being the defensive anchor that he was in Orlando. Like, I want to see him just focus primarily on dominating the paint like he did in Orlando and get easy opportunities with steals and blocks for his teammates to get out in transition and run. And remember, Dwight Howard is an elite rebounder, so that's going to help his case as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate because he's an elite shot blocker and an elite stealer for his size because he's only really 6'10" without shoes. And he also is an elite rebounder defensively. So that should help his stock as being one of the top 5 Defensive Player of the Year candidates. Hopefully he can get back on that elite defensive level and don't worry as much on offense because it's going to come to him easy in Atlanta and focus more on just locking down the paint like he did. He was a good defender in Houston, but I want to see him come back to that elite level because he's more healthier now, and I would like to see him lock down the interior and be a defensive anchor again. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Let me know who you think going to be Defensive Player of the Year.